Hello there, this is Laura Davallo. Today we're going to make a fun interactive card using products from the new Let's Toast with a Twist card kit. As you can see, when we pull the pull tab, the two wine glasses meet in the middle. And that's precisely the name of the interactive die set that I helped design and that we're going to use to create our simple mechanism. But first, let's finish preparing these beautiful wine glasses from the Let's Toast Dynamics set. I die cut 6 of these and colored 2 of them with Copic markers and Prismacolor pencils. Now I'm stacking them with liquid glue to make them sturdy enough for our interactive card. To give it more realism, you can color the edge of the die cut with a dark red marker, but be careful because it might bleed. So here's the meat in the Middle Die-namics set. It includes a 3/4 of an inch wide pull tab. I already stamped the word pull on it with cement gray premium dye ink. Then we have 3 different size linkages, 8 donut-shaped dies, and 2 circles that we're actually going to use to make holes in our panel. Let's have a look at the linkages next to each other to see the difference in sizes. You need to choose which ones you're going to use depending on the distance between the rotating elements and the pull tab. For this card we're using the small and medium-sized linkages. And I die cut 4 of each so that we can layer them. By the way, I forgot to mention this piece before. We're going to use it to keep the pull tab in place, and I die cut it out of thin cardstock. So let's grab some liquid glue and stack all of these elements. I already cut my card base, which measures 8 3/4 of an inch by 5 5/8, and 2 panels, using the largest die from the A2 stitched rectangle stack set 1 Dynamics. One is our visible main panel and the other one will be our mechanism panel. We now need to figure out where to place our rotating elements on the main panel. I previously embossed one of the sentiments from the A Toast to You stamp set on a gray fishtail banner, so we have one less thing to worry about right now. So this looks like the ideal placement for the wine glasses. And now I just grab a pencil and trace around them. I was totally going to eyeball this, but finally decided that such a clean and simple design required some precision, so I grabbed a T-ruler and a pencil and went to work. Now I could temporarily adhere the circle dies to the panel with some washi tape and run it through my die cutting machine. After this, we can use the main panel to mark and punch holes in the second panel. This is where our rotating brads and linkages will go. So as always, let's try to be as precise as possible and get it right on the first try. I used a piercing tool and finished in no time. Now we can start assembling the mechanism. Let's grab a medium-sized linkage and insert a brad through one of the holes. Next we'll insert it through one of the smaller linkages and flatten the legs of the brad. Okay, let's quickly repeat that. First through the medium-sized linkage and next through the small linkage. Now we're going to use a third brad to connect the 2 medium-sized linkages or connectors together, and that same brad is going to link them to our pull tab. In the final version of our mechanism, the head of the brad is going to be visible, but now I'm going to insert it upside down because we're going to use it to mark our pull tab in the correct spot. Later on, we can flip it to avoid unnecessary bulk. Next, we'll connect the whole piece to our panel with mini brads. As long as they are smaller than 3/16 of an inch, which is the diameter of the donut pieces, we will be fine. In our final assembly, the wine glasses will be attached to, or rather around, these brads. Now we can wrap the sleeve or collar around the pull tab and glue it to our panel to keep it in place. It's really easy to do thanks to the embossed score marks. A couple of strips of strong double-sided tape and we're done. I'm not going to press down on it until it's centered and near the edge of the panel. There we go. Sometimes, if there isn't a lot of space between our rotating elements, it's better to insert the brads which are the closest to the pull tab with their heads downwards. Otherwise, the legs of the brads could catch on the edge of the pull tab. I drew a little diagram for you of the ideal placement of the linkages, which you might want to save for future reference. For this card, it's enough with a smaller rotation, so the smaller connectors are almost horizontal in the initial position of the pull tab. If we use this mechanism for another type of card, where there is more space between the rotating elements, we can place the linkages in an M shape to get a maximum rotation going. To figure out where to pierce our pull tab, we just need to insert it in the sleeve and push the linkages upwards until they are almost horizontal. Like so. Now I can press my finger on top of the center brad so that it leaves a little mark on the pull tab. Here's where I'll punch a hole and link the pieces together. And because I recycled the pull tab from a trial card, there already is a hole on it. Let me just cross it over and draw a little circle on the real mark, so that I can punch a hole in the correct spot. We can now connect the linkages to the pull tab with that center brad inserted the correct way, and finish our mechanism before we move on to decorating our panel and assembling everything. But first, let's see if everything is working as it should. And it sure is. I didn't want to distract attention from the pretty wine glasses, so I used cement gray premium dye ink, a makeup brush and the small brick wall stencil to lightly ink the main panel. And the result is really subtle but beautiful. To save some time, I've already added 2 layers of foam tape off camera, making sure to avoid any of the moving parts. You don't actually need this much of it, but I like my cards to look good from the sides. I find it easier to adhere the panels together if I lean them against the table, so I'm afraid you're not going to be able to see much of what I'm doing, but there, it's done. I also like to use these stitched panels because I can now trim off the edge of the lower one before I glue everything to the card base. One of the most useful tricks that I picked up along the way is this method of adhering the card panel to the base. It works like a charm every time. No more crooked card panels for me. Okay, we're almost finished. Remember the donut-shaped pieces? I stacked 8 of them with liquid adhesive, and now I'm gluing them to the rotating brads that can be seen through the holes of our main panel. Next, I'm adding glue to them so that I can adhere the wine glasses in their places with the help of my T-ruler. All that's missing is the banner, which I'm also adhering with liquid adhesive. And we are finished. I hope you liked this first look at the Let's Toast with a Twist card kit. The included products, especially the interactive die set, are very versatile and can be used for many occasions. Thank you so much for stopping by. Have a nice day.